2.25. 1.
Oh no!
2.
He's got my bag!
Three.
I'm too scared.
You open it.
You do it.
Alright. I don't think it's locked. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Ah!
2.26. At the beginning of a word. 2 sounds.
Click, slam, crash, slurp, drip, snore, stammer.
3 sounds. Screech, scream, splash. At the end of a word. 2 sounds.
Shouts, sniffs, yelled, hummed.
3 sounds.
Crunched, mumble, crisps, rattled.
2.27. 1.
She screamed when her friend splashed her in the swimming pool.
2.
The brakes screeched, and then there was a tremendous crash.
3.
I hate the crunching of someone eating crisps.
2.28. 1.
Sounds or noises that particularly annoy me. I would say dogs barking, very irritating. They just don't stop, especially the small yappy dogs. They just go on and on and on and just keep yapping at you. And I just find that extremely irritating because there isn't any real way to shut them up, like a child or something. You can tell them to shut up, but a dog, no, they'll just keep going.
2.
Any noises that annoy me? I suppose I'm annoyed by excessively creative cell phone ringers. That can be of overly popular songs or themes from television series that people obviously think are really cute, but I probably don't think they are as cute.
3.
So one sound that I really hate is car horns, which you hear an awful lot of in cities. And the reason I hate them is because, in my mind at least, a car horn is meant as a warning. But of course nobody uses them for warnings anymore. They use them because they're angry and impatient. And it seems to me that it's like shouting at somebody. And I don't like hearing that expression of anger all around me from dozens of cars.
4.
For me, the most annoying sound is the buzzing noise of a mosquito. When you're just falling asleep in your bedroom at night and you hear that sound, and it's just terrible. I actually can't sleep until I've stopped the sound by killing the mosquito. So what I tend to do is I tend to leave the light off actually and just follow the sound and just search the room for the sound for as long as I can until I can track it down and kill it. Because otherwise I can't sleep knowing that I will wake up in the morning covered in bite marks.
5.
I work in an office and the person who sits next to me, Julie, she crunches on rice cakes every lunchtime and it's really annoying and I don't know what to say to her or how to put it. And if I do tell her now, she'll know I've been annoyed for the last 4 years. But I think she's leaving soon, so maybe I'll just have to bear with it for the next few weeks or months.
2.29.
London has often been accused of being an unfriendly place, but is it really? And if it is,
Does it matter, and what could or should we do about it? Today I'm talking to Polly Ackhurst, one of the co-founders of Talk to Me London, an organisation that aims to get Londoners chatting to each other. Hello, Polly.
Hello.
Could you start by telling us a bit about Talk to Me London?
Sure. Talk to Me London is all about finding ways for people to talk to other people they don't know. And we do this through fun activities, including a badge, which says Talk to Me London on it and shows that you're open to conversation, as well as through regular events that get people talking. And we are also organising a Talk to Me London Day at the end of August.
And how did you get the idea for it? I mean, do you personally find London unfriendly?
Well, I personally talk to a lot of people I don't know, and I think that's where the idea came from. I found that the conversations that I have with people just kind of randomly have been hugely kind of beneficial, really. So I've made new friends, new business connections. Sometimes they just kind of cheer up my day. So Talk to Me London comes from this idea of, what happens if we do start talking to each other more, and you kind of, are able to see more opportunities and possibilities there.
Have you ever been anywhere, either in the UK or abroad, a large city which you thought really was a friendly place, which made you think you wish London was like that?
There are definitely places that I've found friendlier than London, but I think that we all kind of change a bit when we travel, and when we're out of our normal circumstances, we feel like, more free to do things, and perhaps talking to people is one of them. There is a tendency for people say that Mediterranean countries are friendlier, however, or Latino countries even. But there was a similar initiative to this, which was set up in Madrid a couple of years ago, which I think indicates that they're facing the same problem as us. And perhaps, points to the fact that this is a phenomenon in all large cities.
So you wouldn't say it was a uniquely London problem?
No, I wouldn't, no.
You've had some quite high-profile support of Talk to Me London. On your website, I think, there's a quote from Boris Johnson saying what a wonderful idea it sounds. But on the other hand, there's been some quite negative media coverage, which must have been a bit discouraging for you.
I mean, I don't think so. I think that this idea is quite controversial in some ways, because we're trying to encourage people to think about the way that they act and to reflect on that and to possibly change that. So it hasn't really been surprising for us that we've had the negative coverage.
And what would you say to people, and there are plenty of them, I think, people who would say, I'm sitting on the bus, I'm sitting on the tube, I really don't want to talk to anybody, I really don't want anyone to talk to me, I just want to read my book or listen to my music, whatever it is. What would you say to those people?
I would say that it's not about everyone talking to everyone else. It's about enabling those people who want to talk to do so, basically. So that's why all the things that we do are opt-in. So the badge, for example, you wear it if you want to talk. If you don't want to talk, you don't have to wear it. So, this isn't something for everyone, but we want to give people the choice between talking or not talking. And currently there doesn't really seem to be that choice.
Well, I wish you all the best with the project. I hope it's extremely successful, and thank you very much for talking to us.
Thanks a lot.
2.30 James's story.
I was heading home at rush hour a few weeks ago. I was tired and bored, and there was this guy standing beside me reading a book. So I started reading it over his shoulder. It was all about the history of popular social movements. I couldn't see the title, so I asked him what it was called. Surprisingly, he reacted quite positively and told me the name. He told me that he commuted for 2 hours each day and that he always tried to read something enlightening because it made him feel a bit better about his life and being productive by the time he got home. It was such a nice, unexpected conversation, and it got me thinking about my own reading habits.
Annika's story.
I was getting the last tube back home one evening and I had to wait for ages on the platform, so I started talking to the girl sitting next to me. She was Czech and had just come over to the UK with her boyfriend for work. She was a science graduate in the Czech Republic, but was working at a sandwich chain. I suppose in many ways it was a pretty typical story, but she was so upbeat and positive about London and living in the UK. At the end of the journey, she emphasised how good it was to talk and pulled out a sandwich from her bag and gave it to me. I was both shocked and grateful. Perhaps my stomach had been rumbling too loudly.
Philippa's story.
I was on the tube home today and this young man asked me how my day had been. We chatted about the area and iPads and TV and that kind of thing. Then I mentioned the concept of Talk to Me London and encouraged him not to stop talking to people. An older lady, in the meantime, had sat down by us and thought the fact that we were chatting was lovely. And then I bumped into an old neighbour from about 10 years ago and we caught up. When he got off the tube, the guy opposite me mentioned how nice it was to see us catching up, and then we got talking too. It was enthusing. It was quite contagious. I had a smile across my face for the rest of the day.
Alize's story.
I was standing on a bus and I would have thought I'd looked unapproachable, but instead a man sitting close by saw I was carrying a guitar. He gave me a big smile and asked if I'd play him a song. Before long we were chatting about travelling and living in different countries and cities around the world, and about music. He was leaving the next day for a few months' travel around South America. Because the man was a small distance away from where I was standing, quite a few people nearby were able to hear us talk, and many of them also joined in. It felt a little surreal, stepping off the bus later, smiling and saying goodbye to a bunch of strangers, as though they were long-time friends.
2.31. Emphasising that something is your own opinion. 1,
I'd say that
2,
If you ask me,
3,
Personally, I think that
4,
personally speaking,
5,
In my opinion,
6,
in my view,
7,
I feel that
8,
my feeling is that
9.
as far as I'm concerned,